Hey guys, so thought today we'd take a look at just a few things I picked up on eBay. Not a huge amount because I am trying to cut back, so trying to do quality over quantity at this point. But let's see. Oh, before we do the comics, picked up these on ringsidecollectibles.com. They're, if you're an 80s or 90s kid, you might remember Muscle. They were these little, and even smaller than this, I think, maybe about the same height, but thinner. They were little Japanese, like, muscle wrestling figures. These are official WWF, WWE, so, we have Million Dollar Man, Sergeant Slaughter, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I just happened to be on their website and I saw these, and they're by Super 7. On the Super 7 website, they actually have a few different sets. They have some He-Man ones and maybe some G.I. Joe ones. I can't quite remember, and I almost bought some of the He-Man ones once. But, when I was on the website this time, I was like, oh, I need to pick those up because those are total nostalgia and super cute. They had 4 different sets, and each set has different guys. So this one has Roddy Piper here on the left, Andre the Giant, and Macho Man in the back there. They have these cute little cartoons on the back. So, not wanting to waste shipping, I picked up all 4. This one has the Ultimate Warrior in the back here, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Junkyard Dog. These are totally, mostly 80s wrestlers, 80s, early 90s. There's nothing like, there's no Stone Cold or anything like that. And this one has Mean Gene Okerlund on the right there, which is kind of cute that they gave him one. Ric Flair in the middle, and the Iron Sheik on the far left there. So, thought those were super cute. I remember having the muscle figures when I was a kid, so, I remember weren't really able to do much with them because they were, they don't move. They're just little pink guys. But I thought I would pick those up. So this is one of the first pickups. This is the Incredible Hulk 368. So if you're familiar with Sam Keith, this is, I guess he did a fill-in issue, and this is his fill-in issue, which is pretty, I think it was basically his first work over at Marvel. It was before Marvel Comic Presents. So, just a cool issue. Happened to pick this up right before Cartoonist Kayfabe, if you watch their channel, with Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg. They literally, like a couple days after I ordered this, they did a video on it, going through the pages and the artwork and stuff. So, if you're interested in Sam Keith, take a look at that video. They go through basically the entire issue and take a look at the drawings and the Sam Keith artwork in there. So thankfully I picked that up before their video came out. They have a bit of what they call a Cartoonist Kayfabe bump, where things tend to go up in price after they've taken a look at them. This is the Amazing Spider-Man 108 by Stan Lee and John Romita Sr. Picked this up along with the following one because Sci-Fi Wire had a short little video going over John Romita Sr.'s career, and with a little interview with him. And this was the issue that he mentioned as being, these two were his favorites. And he basically said it was because he started drawing in his own style, totally no longer trying to make it look like Ditko. Because, when he first came on, he was trying to make everybody look like a Ditko character. And eventually he just got to the point where he's like, if I'm going to be on this ongoing, I should just start drawing like I want to draw them. So this is the second part of that. It's a two-parter. And this one has Doctor Strange, so another Ditko character. These are probably some of the earliest Spider-Man issues I own. About 20 cents on the cover, so I think they're from the 70s. And a lot of my stuff that I have is Bronze Age, like maybe late 70s, early 80s. I inherited a lot of my comics from an uncle of mine who had this box in his attic for, 10 years. And one day he was just like, okay, just take these. And so, most of my nostalgia comics, those ones that I remember reading when I was younger, this kind of era. The last pickup, and this was by far the most expensive. This is Mr. A. There we go. Mr. A #1. This is by Steve Ditko. This was after his work at Marvel and after some work at DC. And Mr. A is his very black and white Ayn Rand influence creation. And Mr. A is basically, there's no gray area with Mr. A. If you commit a crime, he's okay letting you fall off a bridge, or okay letting you shoot yourself, or almost anything. On here it's your only choice, either good or evil. There's no gray area. So if you've ever seen there's a really good documentary that the BBC did on Steve Ditko, where they basically go over his history, and the guy doing it, who I forget his name, but I think he might have had a small part in V for Vendetta. But he and Neil Gaiman, for part of the documentary, actually go over to New York. This was before Ditko passed away a couple years back. And they basically go to the office building that he's working out of, which of course isn't really public knowledge where he is, but the interview has Neil Gaiman with him, so I'm sure he has an in. And they go up to, they call Ditko first, and they say, hey, we're doing a documentary, can we interview you? And of course he's like, no. But they end up going up, as the interviewer says, hey, I'm already here, I might as well, if I'm going to piss him off, I'll piss him off. So they go upstairs. They don't take the camera crew with them, but the interview and Neil Gaiman go upstairs, and I guess they talk to Mr. Ditko for a few minutes, and they said he was rather pleasant, and he even sent them downstairs he handed them some comics just to send them away with. So super cute little story there, and the documentary is really good. They go over this particular character and kind of the Ayn Rand thinking behind it, and the thinking behind just how he had his outlook on life. This one's magazine format, or the larger Golden Age size, and it's from the 70s. It's all on like newsprint paper, so the cover is newsprint. And this one set me back quite a bit. This was $67, but if you search eBay for Mr. A, there might not be anything up, quite honestly. I think this was the only one I saw. And, if you're going to go for quality over quantity, then Steve Ditko, small press, can't find it anywhere that's worth it to me. So, and one thing I did this week, I did go ahead and send some books out to CGC. If you've never sent books over there, because I mainly have been doing CBCS, but if you do send your books out, they have a couple deals. They have one that I paid for, which was basically pay $150, and that's a lot, but they do CGC charges just to get in the door. I think you have to pay at least $25 just to be able to send the books to them. So they had this one deal where basically you paid $150 and they sent you a mailing box. So they sent me a large box, had 40 bags and boards, and they're the neat ones with the, where you don't have to put tape. It's got the sticky line here. So they sent me 40 of those, and it had 4 different secure mailers and a box and bubble wrap and a pen and all this other stuff, just so you could send them the books securely. And then also, as part of that $150, you got a $150 credit. So I figured, hey, if I'm going to send them, 7 or 8 books, it'd be worth it to just kind of, drop $150, pay up front, and, get my money's worth out of it. So that's what I did. I will say, if you send anything their way, make sure that you, unlike I did, pay attention to what you're doing. When I was going through the online order form, I thought that pressing, which is an extra $20, was, I think I kind of read that as being the same as encapsulating, which CBCS, of course, all of it is one price. It's just, here's the comic, this is how much it is. CGC lets you accidentally pick for grading and pressing. Pressing is something where they just kind of try to get the wrinkles out of a cover. And I accidentally did that, which added like a good, hold on one sec. So anyways, they have this option where you can do pressing, which is an extra $20 per comic. And after reading online before sending the comics, thankfully, I found out that number one, they don't charge you, thank God, until they have your comics. And number two, the pressing is not something you need to do for like 90% of books. Basically, they said, if you have a few wrinkles on the cover that you think might be able to, there's no color breaks, that maybe it's worth it, but otherwise not to do it. So thankfully, I was able to kind of redo the order on the website. I'm going to have to watch my credit card and make sure they don't charge me for that first one, because you do put in your payment info, but I think it must be stored in the barcode on the invoice. So I was able to go through and just put grading for everything, and it took it from like $330, pre 150 credit, down to $220 for about 8 books. So saved myself a good $110 just by kind of looking over their stuff and making sure to unclick it the next time. So when I get those back, their website said their time frame was like 30 some odd days. It wasn't really long. CBCS, when I send, it's like a 3-month process. So if this turns out to be as fast as it is, and since I was able to get the price down to something more in line with CBCS, I might send them some more books. CBCS is like $16 per book, plus you have to pay for them to ship it back. CGC was about $18. But the CGC books, they just garner so much more. Even the CBCS books don't garner as much, because they're not disrespected, but they're not, they don't have as long as a track record. So, but that's it for today, guys. I'm gonna probably swing by my comic shop this weekend, or sometime this week, to pick up my saver. So when we get to that point, I'll show you what we got. But that was it for today. You guys have a good one.